This may not seem like it at first, but what we're looking at here is a dying breed, the hot hatch, or at least the warm hatch, because today I'm going hands-on with the new Kia K4 Hatchback, and not just any K4 Hatchback. This one's a little special. This is the GT line turbo. So we're gonna go over the outside and the inside of this car and talk about how it stacks up against its competition from Mazda, from Honda, from Toyota, but also, could this be an alternative to something like a Volkswagen Golf GTI? Because underneath the hood, this car is hiding something a little bit spicy. Now let's start out with the exterior design. Certainly this thing is more polarizing than any of the competition I just listed. So the Corolla hatchback, the Civic hatch, they're all good looking cars, but they're pretty tame in their design because of course, Toyota and Honda, they don't want to make people upset. They don't want to upset the apple cart and design a car that's too bold and too progressive. Now Kia, on the other hand, threw away the rule book and said, we're gonna do it our way, and I really appreciate that. Now from the A-pillar forward, this car is largely the same as the K4 sedan, except for this yellow color, which is exclusive to the hatchback. Now this GT line does have some more bold accents along the front end. We've got this piano black finish on this lower front splitter. Really kind of this shiny material. I do worry about long-term durability, but when it's clean, it looks really nice. I just think it's gonna be pretty hard to keep clean. And then these headlights, very similar to other Kia products, right? The little waterfall light that makes its way down the edge, and then your main LED beams are gonna be these pods throughout the center. It's got a silver accent piece going across the grille there to accentuate kind of the width of the car. And as we make our way down the side here, we do find 18-inch wheels. Now, I'm not a fan of gloss black wheels at all for long-term durability. I just find that to be a pretty bold choice, especially if you live in an environment with curbs. But the wheel design is very cool, and there are a couple different options depending on the trim and spec. And then the best angle for the K4 hatch, boom, right there. Rear 3/4, I think the overall design, very attractive. Now this car is a full 11 inches shorter than the hatch. And actually, this angle is where you also see the biggest design pro of this car over the hatch. I always thought the hatch was a little busy and fussy at the rear end. This thing is very elegant. Now obviously it's got a big bold C-pillar back here with the integrated spoiler there on the trunk lid, and then we have those cascading tail lights alongside the rear here as well, and more of that piano black finish, but it just looks low, squat, and wide. It's not your grandpa's hatchback, that's for sure. And then of course, you've got your K4 there on the rear portion on the left side, and then GT line on the right. Now this, of course, isn't a full-blown GT, and I'm hoping, Kia, if you're watching this, please, please, please do a full-blown GT, because that's what this car deserves. It deserves the highest performance version. I think this, with a bit of a drop on that suspension, some wide tires and exhaust, and even more aero treatment, would look so good. But underneath the hood of the standard K4, you're gonna find a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, but this GT line turbo uses a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, direct injected of course, 190 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. By the way, horsepower and peak torque both happen well over 4,000 RPM, so this is a pretty rev-happy little engine, and in a future video, I'm gonna get it out on the Canyon Road here very shortly to find out what it drives like. Now, the only transmission available with this engine is an 8-speed automatic. So in the old Forte GT, it was possible to get a pretty slick little manual, not on this new one, but at least it's not a CVT. The base car still gets the intelligent variable transmission, is what Kia calls it, but ultimately it's a CVT. If you get the turbo though, you get a torque converter 8-speed, which is great to see. Anyways, let's go check out the inside and see what's new about this Kia. One thing that Kia is doing a lot better in this car compared to so many of the competition in this relatively affordable small hatchback class is Kia is not afraid to push the boundaries when it comes to colors and textures. And we see that on the inside of this GT line with this really interesting two-tone look on the seats with the black inner and then these white outers along with the white headrests. I do worry about how that's going to age, having white there on your head all the time, year after year after year, but hopefully this is an easily clean material. But to start this Kia up, there you can see this relatively squared off steering wheel. We're going to come down here to the center by the shifter. There is push button start, and the car is going to glide to life. Very, very cool. Now, this 3 spoke wheel, looks great, feels nice to touch. Of course, full leather wrapped here. Once again, two-tone. I like the white airbag, and you also get this car with the red and black interior, which also, once again, just kind of fun and dynamic in a category of car that's typically not known for being fun or dynamic. Now, this GT line does have integrated paddle shifters here for the 8-speed transmission, and then you've got your physical drive selector down here, park, reverse, neutral drive. You also have got manual selection on the left and the right there. Now, of course, as we've seen at many other Kias, we're looking at nearly 30 inches of total screen inside this car. So you've got your main instrument cluster screen here for speed, for RPM. You can change around some of the internals a little bit. Then you have this little mini screen over here for your actual climate control. You can set your automatic, you can change where the fan actually blows. And then over to the right here, this is gonna be your main infotainment screen. Now you're gonna notice it's a heck of a lot of Spider-Man. Probably thinking, what the heck is going on with this? Well, this car actually has different themes that you can go ahead, program, and set up. So you've got like the Spider-Man theme, you've got a Disney theme, you've got a Frozen theme, I think there's an NFL theme. So it's not like it really changes the user experience, but it does change these tiles around. And even the navigation system in the Spider-Man theme, you got a little spider there. If I go into reverse, the car here on the instrument cluster, that thing is spider themed. So, you know, it's kind of a fun little Easter egg and something that you can personalize inside your K4 hatchback. Now, these seats, I find them very comfortable. We do have full power adjustment here on the driver's side with lumbar support. On the passenger side, it is going to be a manual seat design. Not really a big problem. And I do love that even though the screen is going to be dominant in this car, by the way, standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in all K4 hatchbacks, you do still have some physical controls here for shortcuts and physical volume knob, which is great to see. Physical fan speed as well down here. Dual zone automatic climate control. It does have this elevated wireless charger, which is a great thing. I find these work a lot better. You can cycle between charging and USB on this leftmost USB-C, and then you got charging on the right. You can also push for your 12-volt power outlet here. There we go, that pops open. Parking sensors down here, your full 360 parking camera there. It's a nice feature. These cup holders are cool. Boom, look at that. That's always kind of fun. They pop out, or you can just have a normal sized cubby, depending on how you want that configured, and large and in charge center console. So interior, I'd say very well equipped. Standard heated seats, by the way, in K4. Optional ventilated seats. This one also has heated steering wheel. So very well equipped. And if you look at the pricing on this one, we can see it gets pretty expensive when you head into the GT line. Now, pricing on the GT line starts at just under $29,000, but this one with the GT line technology package comes in at 32 grand, and the fuel economy 28 combined, certainly not best in class. When you're looking at vehicles with also similar horsepower in the form of the Civic hybrid hatchback, you're going to be looking at 40 mpg in that. Now, Kia is very proud of the rear seat legroom in this car. Let me get back set up where I was for my driving position. I think that feels right about right. 6 feet tall. Yep, that feels good. Let's see how the rear seat legroom really is in person. So, hidden door handle back here to kind of keep the body lines nice and clean. Pop this open. Okay, you know, not bad actually. I was expecting it to be pretty cramped, but they're saying 38 inches of legroom, and you get an additional inch of headroom in the hatchback over the sedan. So even at 6 feet tall, yeah, this is not bad at all. Nicely equipped back here. Couple of USB-C ports, but more importantly for me, couple of vents for my furry friend Blaze. So I'd say that's pretty good. And then last test, let's check out the trunk room. 22 cubic feet is what they say with the seats folded up. Oh, geez, it was going so smooth. There it is. No power lift gate, but it is easy access there. 22 cubic feet like this. And then let's see if the seats fold flat. Grab this little lever. And yes, they do. That extends to 59 cubic feet, and a great pro about this thing, boom! Look at that! Spare tire. In the category of this car, I'd say that is a very, very nice feature to have. So, I think they've done a really good job in this car on the upper end trims, but the question is, what's that $26,000 base trim like? Well, I'm not going to be able to answer that in this video because, of course, Kia wants to put their best foot forward and show me the upper end trim, but folks, maybe I'll be able to get my hands on that soon. And also stay tuned because I think coming up next week, full driving review of the K4 Hatchback. But let me know what you guys think. Is this an alternative to Honda or Toyota you'd consider? I think it's the most aggressive and probably the most tech-laden. They've done a lot of good things, but it's going to come down to the driving experience for me. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.